Hi, I'm Mindy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna share with you everything I got up to during Horror Mayhem Week 2 for Movie Horror Week, which I have been super excited for, and it ended up being a great week with not so much reading, but a lot of other fun things, mostly movies. But I did finish 2 books in the second week of May. The first book I finished was my one book that was made into a movie, and that is In the Tall Grass by Stephen King and Joe Hill. This was a pretty short story, only an hour to listen to it as an audiobook. And I don't know what I was expecting, but it was unexpected. I like the story. Stephen King and Joe Hill definitely know how to do storytelling, but it's about these people that pull over on the side of the road. There's a pregnant woman and her brother, and they hear a boy calling for help from a field of tall grass, and they go in looking for him, and things get very strange and weird. I really liked it, but there was one scene that I thought was really disturbing, and I guess I don't hate that it went there, but I wish it had it. If you know, you know. And I actually watched the movie adaptation for In the Tall Grass as well, and I thought it was really well done. It had really interesting shots, and it was very creepy and claustrophobic feeling, and they use really disturbing imagery really well to make the tension ramp up. And they went places that the short story didn't really explore, and I thought it was really great. And it was going in these places that the story didn't, and I was hoping it would lean into that and not put the scene that I didn't like in it, but they totally did. Dang it! I was really loving the movie, but I did not want that part. But it's there. Super good cinematography. The acting was decent, and I enjoyed it overall. Except for that one scene. The other book that I finished in the second week of May was The Fireborn Blade by Charlotte Bond, which is actually a fantasy novel. Actually, it's a very short fantasy novel, under 200 pages, which is quite short for fantasy, and I really love this book. It is about a female knight. There's not many female knights, and she has to work harder and do more miraculous things to stay in a high standing as a knight, as a woman. Something not so great happens, and she kind of falls from grace, and she is determined to go on this quest to kill the White Lady, a dragon, and take the Fireborn Blade as her reward that will make her go down in history. The dragons in this world are very, very dangerous, and there's pretty much horror elements in this book with some body horror, like bodies melting, and uh, and the ghosts of the dragon dead, people that have been killed by dragons, are roaming around in the dragon's lair. So the dragon's lair is super claustrophobic and dark and creepy. So yes, I am gonna count this one as horror adjacent because it's very fantasy, but man, there are some nice, tense, creeping, dread type moments in here. Fabulous. That was The Fireborn Blade by Charlotte Bond. I also watched some other movies, including the original Zombieland. I rewatched this one on Blu-ray, first time on Blu-ray, and it is so funny and so fun, epic. When they're in the amusement park, epic. But yes, horror comedy about the zombie apocalypse. The great cast. So good. So that I watched for Zombiethon, hosted by Kat's Novel Adventures. That's not the only zombie movie I watched in Movie Week. I also ended up going to a horror convention and indie film festival during this week on the weekend. Nightmares, Horror Expo, and Film Festival. And I watched a couple of movies while I was there. One of them was a zombie movie, and that was called Chrysalis. And it's very indie, but it used some amazing sets. I'm pretty sure they went to actual, like, derelict, empty buildings to shoot, and it had that definite feel of things have really gotten downhill. It was more focused on the characters, the relationships between the characters, and just their daily struggle for survival. There were some great zombie scenes, but yeah, it was character based, and so if that sounds like something you would like, it was good. Very sad, yeah, dark and bleak, but really well made for like zero budget. And then the last movie I watched at the film festival was Transmission, another indie film, and this one was really, really cool. It is, I don't know how much I want to tell you because it's really neat. But Transmission is about TV surfing, and it's a horror story focused on TV. There's like these different clips from news and just a TV show and a movie, and they all seem like completely different, like you're just clicking through the channels, but then they all come together and make a story, and it's really cool. Really like it. But this movie, I really liked that. The sets were great. It was a sci-fi horror movie. And then there's kind of a documentary about the director of that movie. Really interesting. So those two, you can tell how they go together. But then there's a bunch of other stuff. Yeah. I actually really, really like that one. And the Horror Expo had amazing panels with horror movie actors, and it also had a vendor room to buy horror goodies, and I got a bunch. So let me show you some of the things I got. I bought a new purse. Skulls. Has a clasp like that. It's got a pocket inside and pocket on the back. It's so pretty. I love that. Now since we're on the skulls, I also got this Nightmare Before Christmas clip. I really wanted to put up my hair, and someone was selling me super cute clips, and I bought one, and it works really well. Easy. Oh, I got a swag bag when we came in. So we got the actual bag. Got a poster that is Earth design. A little ghost de-stress ball. Glass. And 2 t-shirts. One has this year's design, and they had some extras with last year's design, so we got that. It's cool. I also got some horror themed magnetic bookmarks to get all the horror, mostly slasher characters. I got some socks. I didn't bring them in here. Also got some amazing leggings that are in the wash right now, but I'm going to show a picture of them. I'm also holding my book haul. And then the last thing I got from the vendors is Beetlejuice pillow shaped like a coffin. Isn't that so cool? Oh my gosh. Awesome. And the books. A closer look at the books. I just showed that picture. But I got Circadian by Derek James Bland. These are from local authors. They're indie published. Cool cover. This is about a man who can't sleep. Doesn't sleep since he had surgery on his brain to get a piece of glass taken out of his brain. And then he can't sleep, which is causing psychological problems. And then a doctor thinks he has an answer for him. I don't know that it goes well if it's a horror novel. We shall see, though. Sounds really interesting. And then another author was there, James Mavity. another local author, and I bought 2 books in his slasher series, and there's another one coming out. But this is Andy Marsh, The Evolution of a Serial Killer. That's book 1. And then book 2, Andy Marsh 2, The Devil Inside. So this one is like his backstory. And then this one is him actually becoming a serial killer. So that is everything that I got up to during Movie Horror Week for Horror Mayhem. It has been such a blast. And the only thing left to do is maybe mark my bingo board. Here's the bingo board. I don't have a color printer, but there it is. The first book I read this month was Code Red, Blood Red, an apocalyptic story. So then I'm gonna count that one as indie horror. I don't know if apocalyptic really counts as dystopian. I'll have to think on that. The next book I read was The Angel of Indian Lake by Stephen Graham Jones, which is a slasher. And it is a diverse author. The last one I read in week 1 was A Child Alone with Strangers by Philip Fracassi. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Let me see what that counts for. It counts for kidnappings. And then this week I read In the Tall Grass, which I am counting for green cover with all that grass. As well as Psychological. I think that one was pretty psychological. And the last one is The Fireborn Blade, which has ghosts. Oh, and it's horror adjacent. That one I feel good about. It's horror adjacent. And so that's where I'm at so far after week 2. I still got some work to do. But I read a lot in week 3 for classic horror week. Lots to tell you about in that video. Let me know what you thought of my haul or any of the books or movies I talked about, and I will be back very soon with another book related video. Thanks. Bye.